Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Colton Ogburn, and we need to explain the Pocket Universe from Superman, because this strange place just revealed the DCU's plans for the multiverse. Lex literally tells us that this Pocket Universe exists between two parallel Earths. So what kind of universe is on the other side? Well, there are so many hidden details in this Pocket Universe that reveal the big story for the DCU, and its crisis on Infinite Earths.
What?
So we're going to explain how all of this sets up the big story for the DCU, the Justice League, and how this connects to the other Pocket Universe tech from Peacemaker.
It's a quantum unfolding storage area. It leads to a dimensional nodule outside normal space.
And hey guys, while I have you, be sure to check out our merch store, ScreenCrushMerch.com, where we have lots of fun Superman-inspired parody merch up for sale right now. Thank you so much for your support. Alright, first let's explain everything we know about the Pocket Universe from the movie. Lex says that he replicated the Big Bang with his Mega Collider, and this mini Big Bang tore a tiny hole between two universal fabrics. So essentially, the Pocket Universe is a buffer zone in the space-time between two alternate universes. And this is why this Pocket Universe is so dangerous. As Mr. Terrific said, the very existence of the Pocket Universe has created the black hole inside this dimension. And of course, there's the anti-proton river at the bottom of the dimension. And this is huge because it connects to Crisis on Infinite Earths perfectly. So before we get into that, there are some massive hints to how the Pocket Universe sets up the DCU's multiverse story. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, James Gunn confirmed that the Pocket Universe is connected to the tech from Peacemaker. Christopher Smith's evil racist dad somehow has a pocket dimension in his closet.
How is it so big in this place?
It's a quantum unfolding storage area. It leads to a dimensional nodule outside normal space.
So somehow, White Dragon has the tech to quantumly unfold space to create this other pocket dimension.
Well, I guess your dad's pretty brainy for a racist to make a place like this.
Also, Gunn hinted that the second season of Peacemaker will focus on the QUC. And this could explain how Peacemaker will enter a parallel Earth where he fights an alternate version of himself. Or this could explain how Peacemaker will travel from the DCEU into the new DCU. Because remember, in Season 1, Peacemaker met the Snyder version of the Justice League.
Go f another fish, asshole!
I'm so f***ing sick of that rumor.
And listen to what Gunn says in this interview with Screen Rant.
And are you building towards a big event or? Okay.
Yeah, you know, the next season of Peacemaker, they'll see where a lot of these things are going and have a little bit more of a sense of maybe what can happen.
So all of this means that the QUC and the Pocket Universe are somehow connected. And this tech will be setting up the big story of the DCU. And we think that we have figured out what Gunn is planning. So here's our theory. In the comics, there is a version of the Pocket Universe, but it really has nothing to do with the one in the movie. And there are also pocket dimensions like the Phantom Zone. But there is a reason why Gunn chose to explain the Pocket Universe as a buffer zone between two separate parallel Earths. Because in the comics, the space between universes is called the Bleed.
Do you bleed?
It's an interdimensional membrane outside of the parallel Earths. And before many retcons, the Bleed used to be called Limbo, an empty space filled with purple rocks and disconnected structures. And this is basically how Lex's Pocket Universe looks in this movie. So all of this means that the Pocket Universe in the movie is the DCU's version of the Bleed. And this is how all of this sets up the stories for the DCU in the future. So as far as we know, the Pocket Universe still exists. The door might be closed, but it is probably way too dangerous to try to shut it down completely, you know, because of that freaking black hole. And let's be honest, the government wouldn't really want to shut it down anyway. So after the Justice Gang stops the Baravian invasion, we hear the Defense Secretary telling Rick Flag Sr. that metahumans are now the ones who are making the rules. That means that these superpowered beings can disregard the world's governments and intervene whenever they want. Which is probably not such a bad thing considering. Flag is working with Amanda Waller as we've seen in Creature Commandos. And Waller will sacrifice anyone as long as she gets the job done, and that job is protecting America.
Corto Maltese is no longer a U.S. ally. If anything, the White House will consider fomenting disruption in a hostile nation a positive development.
Also, Flag will appear in Peacemaker Season 2. And Flag has every reason to hate these superheroes because Smith killed his son in the Suicide Squad. Now, Peacemaker might not be a metahuman, but he's yet another costume hero who does whatever he wants without facing the consequences. So that means that Flag will know about the QUC since he's after Smith. And that means that Argus will be weaponizing the QUC tech, and then use it to reopen the doors to Luthor's pocket universe. Especially if Peacemaker Season 2 introduces the idea of the multiverse. Because if the pocket universe is a doorway to another Earth, then
doors open from both sides.
So we can see Argus creating a team of metahumans that will protect the pocket universe from possible invaders. And hey guys, speaking of the DCEU and the DCU, be sure to check out our DCEU Rest in Peace shirt. We've also got this great shirt featuring Superman as a baby with Krypto in his rocket coming to Earth, and then we see another rocket with the Fantastic Four in it leaving Earth. We've also got this Brian Griffin as Krypto. Lots of fun Superman inspired parody merch up on the store. Please do feel free to check it out. It is the best way to support the channel. Now, Maxwell Lord, the financial backer of the Justice Gang, will also appear in Peacemaker Season 2. So keep in mind that the Justice Gang, they kind of work for Maxwell. And usually in the comics, Lord is a bad guy. Remember, Pedro Pascal played Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 84, and he was the villain of that film.
Life is good, but it can be better.
So, Peacemaker Season 2 could end with Lord making a deal with Argus to weaponize the QUC and the Pocket Universe. And Lord could enlist the Justice Gang. Now, of course, Mr. Terrific would never agree to any messing around with Pocket Universes because he's too smart. But Lord could manipulate the Justice Gang's values, convince them that Luthor just opened Pandora's box and it's only a matter of time till the Pocket Universe becomes a new arms race. Lex had many portals around the world and he worked with many shady, powerful people. So you could argue that it would be better for the Justice Gang to take charge of this dangerous tech rather than it falling into the wrong hands.
We may not be perfect, but the safest hands are still our own.
And this could mean that Peacemaker might end up joining the Justice Gang after the second season. I mean, we do see him auditioning to join the team in that Peacemaker Season 2 trailer. And guys, Peacemaker and Guy Gardner shooting the shit, it will be gold.
Superman's an alien. He's got a poop fetish. He uberliebes the old shiz, as I understand it.
So you know about the hypno glasses?
Now she does.
Well, I'm not saying who he is, just that he wears hypno glasses.
But hey, let's be honest, the team we all want and the team that will make the most amount of money is, of course, the Justice League. We even got a hint at the Justice League in Superman with the Hall of Justice, which traditionally serves as the headquarters of the Justice League. And we see the mural wall that depicts older heroes. Although, since the Hall of Justice is already taken, I really hope the League will use the Watchtower just like in the animated series. And I really think they should lean into that animated lineup. So that would be Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Jon Stewart as Green Lantern, Wally West as the Flash, though I do prefer Barry Allen, and we also of course have Hawkgirl and Martian Manhunter. Although I have to say, I really do want Mr. Terrific to be a member, and I also adored Metamorpho in this movie. Creature Commandos has a huge tease of the villains of the first Justice League movie. In a vision to a possible future, we see that an evil princess takes over the world and kills the Justice League. The princess is dead, however, the vision also shows that Gorilla Grodd is involved somehow. And he's the super genius gorilla who can control others with his mind.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
So the first Justice League movie could be about the formation of the Legion of Doom or the Injustice Gang. Both are teams of supervillains. Because if Argus gets their hands on Peacemaker's QUC, they might enlist Lex to help them with the Pocket Universe. And let's be honest, Lex is too rich and smart to be kept behind bars. So he might manipulate the government to give him more power, and he will form the Legion of Doom. And then take control of the Pocket Universe and use it as a nuclear deterrent against the world. If anyone messes with them, they can just open a few portals and tear reality apart.
Sometimes things go so horribly wrong that the only way to fix them is by starting over. When the dust settles, we'll rebuild, and I'll lead the survivors into a new world.
Anyway, here's how all of this leads to Crisis on Infinite Earths. At the end of this Superman movie, Ultraman falls into the black hole. In theory, the gravitational forces of the black hole should turn him into spaghetti and tear him apart.
Have you heard about how if you fall into a black hole, you turn into spaghetti?
No.
Good. The less you know about that, the better.
But who are we kidding? Ultraman will return. So, in our previous videos, we have explained why Ultraman is actually the DCU's Bizarro. Now, Bizarro, if you didn't know, is Superman's defective clone with a tragic story.
Me am Superman. Me am hero.
Sorry, my friend, but you am toast.
And Ultraman really feels like Bizarro. And we've also theorized previously how Ultraman could transform into Bizarro after being trapped in that pocket universe. It's possible that with no sunlight in the black hole and the sheer force of the black hole that would rip to shreds a mortal person, we could see Ultraman come out extremely deformed. But we don't think it's a coincidence that Gunn named this clone version Ultraman and not Bizarro. In the comics, Ultraman is his own character, and he's not a clone. He's an evil Superman from an alternate universe where all the heroes are supervillains. That universe is called Earth 3, and it is ruled by the Crime Syndicate, an evil version of the Justice League.
Parallel universe, coexisting with ours on another dimensional plane.
And in the comics, the Justice League had a few run-ins with the Crime Syndicate. It's one of many multiverse events that lead to Crisis. And after the Crime Syndicate was defeated, the heroes locked them in limbo, which is the space between universes. Sort of how Superman trapped Ultraman in the Pocket Universe, which is the DCU's version of Limbo and the Bleed.
Coincidence? I think not!
And we believe that the black hole is that door. It's the boundary of the Pocket Universe, and everything outside leads to other realities. So, picture this. The Pocket Universe blasts Ultraman into the universe on the other side, which ends up being the DCU's Earth 3. And this is the reverse Earth where all the heroes are villains. So Ultraman is obviously a dumb, imperfect clone that literally needs Lex to control his every move. Lex even uses him as his mouthpiece. But maybe once Ultraman is free from Lex's control, he can actually develop some kind of intelligence. And this way we can see Bizarro's tragic story told through Ultraman in a parallel Earth. And get this, since he's a clone, he might have some access to Superman's memories. But also, since he's Bizarro, he gets confused and starts believing that those memories are his own.
What going on? Me am Superman?
And remember, Superman's biological parents send him to Earth to conquer and take on many wives, so what if Ultraman starts believing that this is his mission on Earth 3? And this is how the DCU's Crime Syndicate could be formed. And Ultraman doesn't need to be the brains of the operation. The evil Justice League includes Owlman, and he's basically Batman, but evil. And maybe once Argus, the Legion of Doom, or the Injustice Gang messes with the Pocket Universe, they open the door to Earth 3.
You've got a spaceship floating over our heads with a laser weapon pointing down. In another dimension, 7 of you overthrew the government and assassinated the president.
And this then incites a multiversal war because this will allow the Crime Syndicate to invade Earth 1. Eventually, all of this tampering with the Pocket Universe and parallel worlds will trigger the Crisis on Infinite Earths. This was a giant multiverse crossover event from 1985, and this story was about the multiverse facing extinction.
So it's Secret Wars, but in DC.
Well, buddy, DC loves their giant multiverse crossover events. Hell, they invented them. Crisis changed DC Comics forever, but also this event transformed the entire comic industry. And this is why DC and Marvel keep doing these giant multiverse crossover events. And I mean, why else would the DCU establish this multiverse so early if they're not planning to do Crisis eventually? And Superman has a big clue to Crisis happening. The big threat was the antimatter, the antimatter embodiment that starts erasing countless universes with an antimatter wave.
Antimatter. Antimatter.
And the antimatter connects to the Pocket Universe because of the antiproton river, and it flows directly into the black hole. Now, this is huge, because you see, protons are one of the building blocks for the atom, but antiprotons are their opposite, and when regular protons collide with antiprotons, they annihilate each other with a burst of energy.
Yes, science!
And all of this is important because antiprotons are connected to antimatter. So maybe the antiproton river is actually an antimatter river that connects to the antimatter. And we saw, like I mentioned earlier, that the antiproton river is filled with these multicolored cubes. But once that antimatter comes into contact with positive matter, there's this crystallization effect that the Pocket Universe creates. So this could be antimatter consuming matter. And get this, the anti-monitor was unleashed because of a scientist from a parallel Earth. He messed with antimatter and accidentally started the crisis event. There's also an alien scientist named Krona who accidentally created the antimatter universe that gave birth to the anti-monitor. So what if in the DCU it was Lex's narcissistic and irresponsible actions of creating the pocket universe that ultimately starts the chain of events that leads into Crisis?
He's hungry. He's found us. And he's coming!
This crossover was DC's way of rebooting all of their diverging comic books and condense all of their stories into one continuity. Sort of like what the MCU is totally doing with Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. And that's the only big caveat with adapting this story. The DCU is fresh, it's a new universe, and it needs no reboot. I really, really hope. And also, I don't really want the DCU to go too crazy with the multiverse anytime soon. I mean, a few alternate universes will be fine, but the main focus should be on the main DC universe, rather than it becoming about cameos and bringing back actors from franchises that have nothing to do with the DCU.
Disney brought him back. They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
Plus, this might be a hot take, but Anti-Monitor is so freaking boring. He's such a nothing villain, he's not even really a character, he's more like a punchable plot device. And that is why I believe that the DCU needs a different villain for the Crisis event, and the perfect choice is Darkside.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening!
And here's why this works. First, Darkseid's world, Apocalypse, exists in the sphere of the gods. It's a separate layer outside of the Ori of Worlds, which contains all the parallel Earths. So technically, it means that there is only one Darkseid in the whole wide multiverse. But more importantly, Darkseid's motivations are perfect for the DCU's Crisis. Darkseid is the living embodiment of evil. He's a force of nature. He represents all the things that the heroes fight against. His goal is to dominate the very idea of free will, to subjugate every single being in existence and turn them into mindless drones that obey his every command. For this reason, Darkseid is obsessed with obtaining the anti-life equation. Basically, anyone who knows the anti-life equation can control all life in existence. Think of it like the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. Now, this way, there would be no need for the antimatter wave that annihilates every universe in its path, because that's basically what the MCU is doing with the Incursions and Doctor Doom. So instead, you've got someone in Darkseid who doesn't care that there's a multiverse. In fact, this is even better for him. Infinite realities equals infinite slaves for him to rule. So this makes Darkseid the perfect contrast to the multiverse, because the very idea of parallel Earths is rooted in free will. The idea that any choice can create a new alternate universe. But Darkseid is the death of free will, the death of creativity, the death of creation. So maybe the anti-proton river isn't just flowing toward the black hole, but it actually all goes to Apocalypse, which can be fueled by antimatter in the DCU. So, DCU's Chapter 1 could focus on different factions and groups trying to control the Pocket Universe. And all of this conflict will provoke Darkseid to seek out the anti-life equation to control the multiverse. And this is how we believe the Pocket Universe could lead to the DCU's Crisis on Infinite Earths. So guys, let me know, what do you think James Gunn is planning with the Pocket Universe and the QUC tech from Peacemaker? Do you think they should go for Crisis on Infinite Earths, and what heroes should be in the Justice League? Special shout out to the writer and editor of this video, Pavel T. You can find his links down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you get alerted every time we upload a new video. For ScreenCrush, I'm Colton Ogburn.